Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Hinckley Township Board of Trustees to order on Tuesday, October 17 at 6:30 p.m. Call the roll, please.
Slider?
Here.
Asher?
Here.
Trustee Augustine has an excused absence. Also, our chiefs, police and fire in attendance. This time, I'd like to ask everyone to join in honoring our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'll move to approve the minutes for the October 3, 2023 regular trustee meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Asherle. Any discussion?
None.
There being none, I will, all in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve the minutes for the October 6, 2023 special trustee meeting.
That's when I was at, right? Yes. Second.
Seconded by Asherle. Any discussion?
None.
None. Can I vote on this, Martha, if I was not in attendance but watched? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve the minutes for the October 11, 2023 special trustee meeting.
No, I was not at that one, right? And I
Same as I
did
was.
not watch it. Should we wait on that one?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess so.
We'll table that one. Thank you.
What date was that?
October 11.
Okay.
Ms. Catherwood?
Anything business-wise, but I'd just like to let everybody know that former trustee Becky Chatton Let's Go passed the Judiciary Committee for her presidential appointment as the head of the Northern District of Ohio. She's been serving in that position as the interim director since June, I think. Dave, correct?
June, yes.
And it's quite an accomplishment. She will oversee 40 counties, 166 employees.
Wow.
So we were very fortunate to have her fill my unexpired term in 2018 and 2019. She served with Mr. Burns and Ray Schulte. And it's quite an exceptional accomplishment. She will be receiving a full Senate vote as soon as they get their act together.
Hometown hero for sure.
Yeah.
Served the community very well in her 2 years here.
Thank you for recognizing her. I saw her a couple of weeks ago at the game and talked to her for a while. So
Yeah,
job well done.
yes,
Anything further, Martha?
that's it.
Okay, very good.
How do you top that, right?
No, yeah, well, we can all go home now. So, let's go to police.
I have nothing.
Nothing for this evening. Fire?
Just got a couple items here.
Oh, you
Uh,
just broke the roll.
I know. I know. I'm gonna go, one that's not on here. Motion to accept the Ohio EMS grant in the amount of $1,200.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. First is request appropriations not to exceed $850 for an oil leak from Squad 37-2 from General Maintenance Services.
So moved.
Second, discussion? What is,
It's the bottom oil pan and a gasket with the near the filter that's leaking. They said it's a common on those Ford. It's one of two spots those Fords typically leak.
right, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is request appropriations for $498 for two Apple iPads from Amazon paid through the EMS grant.
So moved.
Second? That's a nice discount there.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
They're
That
the-
was
they're
just
the
so,
they're the nine. They're not the brand newest ones. They're the last ones because they'll work with our EMS programming, no problem, or software. So
and that was the grant that we just accepted. To keep everybody up to speed.
You guys voted on that one, right? I can move
We
it.
did.
Okay, perfect. Request appropriation $75 for the permit to burn, for a burn permit through the state of Ohio. We will be conducting another live burn, November 18th and 19th, weather permitting, on 303. As I have more details, I will share. We're going through the process now, but we already have the asbestos abatements. There's very little we have to do on the prep, unlike last year's November burn that we had spent all the time building rooms out. This one, all we have to do is pretty much take up the carpet in a couple of the rooms and start getting pallets and straw. We're already starting to train in the building to get reps on different evolutions inside the building.
So moved.
Second, discussion,
None.
all in favor?
Aye.
Request appropriations not to exceed $500 for 2 4-tier industrial freestanding storage shelves from Home Depot. That's going into the new storage room we built up in the training barn. So we can start moving stuff and organizing it, and I will begin building the training side of the training barn.
It's done. So moved.
Second, discussion,
None.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next is Dave Murdowski is stepping down as chief engineer. He does not have the time to commit to the weekly checks and everything else that goes with it. So he's stepping down.
Any thoughts on,
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna see. I got a couple ideas and a couple of people kind of expressed they have some mechanical background. So we'll see.
okay. We don't have to vote on that, right? It's just an FYI.
Okay, yep. Couple other things kind of just to note, in November, we're presenting the details on selling of the reserve engine that we've had, 31.2. It's a 05 or 07 engine on Gov Deals. Myself and Assistant Chief Sean Barrett met with Chief Stanek from Sharon Township and Larry Walters, the Chief of Medina City, to discuss mud rescue. They're both a part of the Medina County All Hazards team. We met with the Metro Parks as well, as I said, and Chief Stanek from Sharon was a member of the Summit County All Hazards team, and they actually participated in a mud rescue in Kendall Lake. The technical rescue team has secured a air knife, which is just a big, small, 1-inch diameter air cannon and hose. And I talked to service department about, they have a tow behind compressor that we'll have access to and needed. The Metro Parks has the wood already staged for us, and then they'll be bringing additional trailers and resources. We started building the response plan outs. I have a rough draft of it. But we will be calling in a bunch of different agencies right away to get manpower. And the Metro Parks has already said they will be sending out their dive team because they have some flotation devices and stuff that'll help in the event of it. Just so everybody is aware, they're putting more signs around that area, and it is an ordinance, so they can ticket if they see people down in the mud trespassing and all that. And to my understanding from them, talking to the EMA, if we activate the team to have to go and get somebody, there can be recovery costs for manpower, vehicles, and everything else that goes with a mud rescue. We've watched videos and it doesn't look fun.
Thank you for doing all of that
Yeah.
extra, working with them and keeping us updated on it. I know we talked about it 2 weeks ago at the last meeting
Mhm.
also, so thank you.
I know I've been monitoring online. People have been going out there. Myself and my son went out yesterday, and you could see footprints right on the edge. And we were trying to pick out different objects out there. So it's just, hopefully, no, we don't have to.
Knock on wood.
The individual, 4 or 5 years ago, she was in the mud and it was up to chest, and they had to put heaters around her to keep her warm because it was temperatures like this. The mud was cool, so it was drastically cooling her body core temperature down.
Mhm.
So it's not just, hey, it's going to get a lot of resources. It can be deadly. Next is, I just want to let you guys know, some of the police officers and the service department are coming down to the fire station tomorrow, along with other mutual aid fire departments. We have the electric company coming in. They're going to be doing a 2-hour presentation on hazards associated with electrical hazards, wires down, and they have a big, huge trailer they bring out that it's set up. You can see what the power poles look like, and they actually energize it and show the arcing and sparking, and they actually will make contact with it, typically with a hot dog or something, to show how disastrous contact is with the electric company. So we'll post some videos and pictures on our social media through the Firemen's Association. And last,
Chief,
yes,
real quick before you leave that, I understand Mike's gonna stop over, which I think is a good
Yeah.
thing. They're up there working on
yep,
those things.
exactly.
Did you open it up any further? Is this First Energy?
This First Energy, yeah.
Okay,
We opened it up to the fire departments around us
Okay.
and the police department, since they're responding, they're running the hazards, but we have members from Granger, Brunswick Hills, Brunswick City couldn't send anybody. Richfield already had different training going on, and Sharon's sending some members there as well.
very good. Thank you.
Yep. And last but not least, December 17th is our Santa Claus parade, Christmas parade. We'll have more details coming up, and the route will be posted in the coming weeks once we finalize the details for that. That's all I have.
Very good.
Thank you. It's always a big hit.
It is. It's a fun time for sure.
Mike did not have anything. That's why he is not here this evening. We'll go into zoning. Melissa is not here. She did give me the third quarter zoning report indicating that for the third quarter, they collected $14,004 in fees. And any additional information anybody wants to see on that is available through the zoning office. I will leave these other two for her we'll table those for a future meeting. So I'm not sure what they refer to. Cemetery, Trustee Augustine also gave me the third quarter cemetery income statement. And third quarter fees collected are $6,609. Again, any other information, you could get that through the admin office through Suzanne Peterlin. And Trustee Augustine also has on here about quotes for restoring Maple Hill. We'll put that on, we'll table that as well until she returns. And our trustees, we have a motion. Would you like to make that?
Yeah,
Or
I
you
don't
want
have it written. Do you have it written down, like
I
the
do. Do
exact
you know-
wording of it?
The
It's in the minute.
the
Did-
resolution number.
Did we want to excuse Jess? Chief Grossenbach?
Ready to go?
Emma, yes, please.
Wanna hang around a little longer?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I'd like
Have
to
a
have
good
dinner.
evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Throw
guys.
something
Be
at
safe.
me next time.
He's just sitting there twiddling his thumbs.
See you guys later.
Have a good night. I don't have the exact
Yeah.
wording
It's in
from,
the meeting minutes. If you look on the email when you guys sent the minutes. Minutes from the-
And on the
11th,
11th,
right?
yes.
Yeah, you'll find it there. Or, well, here you go. Amen.
Oh, we don't, I was.
We don't
looking for
have those.
resolution number.
Well, you didn't make a resolution, actually.
Oh, they did
You
not.
made a motion to accept the Fabrizi
Okay.
bid at $237,270 for the Bethany Lane Road Improvement Project pending prosecutor approval. Is that the motion you want to rescind?
We will move to rescind that motion.
second.
Seconded by Asherle. No. I will call the roll on that. Asherle,
Yes,
Sweattick, yes.
for the public to be aware of that, we are rescinding the motion, the resolution, sorry, that we just made, approving the bid for Bethany Lane, from the advice of the prosecutor. And then do we,
Going down through these, I don't, do you have any info on any of these that you want to speak to?
well, do we want to reject all bids then? Do we have to make a motion to reject all bids or?
Follow up?
I don't know, what did he say?
That was,
That was the recommendation.
Okay, then make that, then.
We'll
make the
move to
motion
reject all bids
reject
from the
all.
Bethany Lane, 2023 Bethany Lane Road Improvements Project.
second.
Second by Asherle. Call the roll. Sweattick, yes. Asherle,
Yes. The only two things that I can speak of on Melissa's agenda was the Hinckley Elementary meeting discussion, which kind of goes into my November 7th meeting. I had said at the last meeting, I had to check on my availability for that meeting for the Hinckley Elementary, and I had emailed both you and Melissa that I could not do the meeting on the 8th in the morning. I will actually be out of town. I think you had,
subsequent to that, the day after that meeting, I advised her that I had items come up on either side of that date as well. So we would have to, I think we have to keep the November 7 meeting.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation. We can do Hinckley Elementary at another time.
sounds good.
So will that be in the?
It will be in the senior room.
In the senior room.
In the
Correct.
senior room, which I will email Suzanne to let her know that it's going to be November 7th, normal time at 6:30 in the senior room. And then the Google Drive discussion, I'm not sure if you had watched that last special meeting we had that Melissa had brought that up.
I did.
Do you care to have any additional discussion about it? Do you want to remain what we had all agreed to the week prior with doing the Google Drive, or taking Suzanne's recommendation and not doing the Google Drive?
I'd say let's do that collectively. I'll say wait on it right now. We'll table that for now.
Okay.
And I don't have an issue with it either way. But it's my understanding you've talked with somebody else now that supports doing it. So we'll get them all involved and figure out what to do it. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind having a work session at some point in the next week or week and a half. We could do that. I'd also like to get together and finish up the employee manual too. So we could put both of those things on and have a discussion where we don't have to drag everybody through the mud on it.
So you're looking for a work session.
Yeah, so think about that and we can come back to that.
All right. I will have Suzanne send out an email to all of us asking availability for like end of next week or
Yeah.
the week of the 30th is a bad week for me. So, all right, I'll send an email to Suzanne and ask her to reach out to everybody.
Pretty good.
Work session. Are you going to be in town next week?
During the week, I should be.
Okay. So like a Wednesday or a Thursday or Friday. Okay. All right, so then just move into me
Yes.
with the trash survey results. Got back 8% of the surveys that we sent out. And of the 8% responses of the overall community, 195, so a little over 70% responded saying they wish to remain single hauler. Overwhelming majority, more than 75%, said that they would like to remain with a 5-year contract. And the people who have opted out that responded to these, 67 of them have opted out. 209 had not. So
Of the respondents.
of the respondents. So actually, I'm kind of like, that number really surprised me. I figured everybody who has opted out or tried to opt out would have submit the survey. But it's nice to know that apparently there's only 70 people that really are not happy with the single hauler trash. So I think that is definitely the overwhelming response we were looking for. Looks like we will be putting these out to bid next summer because we will remain single hauler in the
What
township.
surprised me is I thought the overwhelming number of respondents would be, they don't want to
Agreed.
continue. And it was over 70% of people who did respond. So that is actually pretty surprising.
I agree. Those are the ones, I think you actually commented on that and said, oh, we're going to hear from them. If they
Yeah.
don't like it, we're going to hear from them. So.
Okay.
All right, and a reminder for everyone, all 67 of our residents that choose to opt out, that is going to be open on November 1st from 9 a.m. through November 3rd at noon. So if you wish to opt out, you can fill out that form that was in the mailer that was sent out, and you can email that to admin@hinckleytwp.org. It's on the website. The Christmas photo contest, we have submitted that ad to the Hinckley Record. So that will be in the November Hinckley Record. And that is people who are decorating their homes for Christmas that would like to be showcased on our website. You can send us a high resolution at admin@hinckleytwp.org. We're going to have the kids at the elementary school vote on the best decorated house, and they will be the cover story of the Hinckley Record in the January edition. John Colzaveri contacted me from the Greensmith asking where the exact location that we're going to be planting the memorial dogwood trees. So Martha and I already discussed that. You're going to send me Linda's email, and I will send her an email tomorrow and get that location for him, because it is officially the fall when they wanted to plant them. And that is all I have.
Okay. First, I will move to pay the bills in the amount of $61,234.20.
Second.
Second by Asherle, all in favor?
Aye.
I will now move to amend the motion to request appropriations of $6,000 to cover uniforms and equipment for new hire, promotion, and normal replacement of uniforms at police, to include Shuttler's Uniform Incorporated as the vendor.
Second.
Seconded as amended.
Seconded as
All in
amended.
favor?
Aye.
Does that work for you, Martha?
Mhm.
Okay, very good. Having had discussion and the resolution that we had at the last meeting relative to the on-ramp discussion on 71 over in Brunswick, there is information about the different layouts of builds that are available there. And I'm going to ask Trustee Asherle to have the admin office. We can post these on the website for anybody who's interested in looking at them. It's telling about where it's located and the impact that it may or may not have on the township. So I'll provide those to you. On October 4, I attended an ODOT meeting for a Medina 71 and 271 planning study stakeholder kickoff meeting, which was virtual. They're looking at the possibility of a connection from 71 southbound to 271 northbound and vice versa. Right now, 271 just goes south on 71 down towards Medina there. So doing that would alleviate traffic that comes up through and across Weymouth there. So they're talking about looking at that, and they're also looking at improvements on the interchange areas of 71 and 3 and 271 and 94. But it was a very, very preliminary meeting. It was basically to get all the stakeholders online and introduce them and just get a little bit of feedback from them. So as that progresses, I'll give you additional information as it becomes available. The old fire bay east wall restoration, renovation rather, the bids for that will be advertised this Friday and will be due at noon on November 9. with the opening and selection of a contractor on November 9 at 1 p.m. And I will also provide some information now from the engineer's office, Medina County. The Hinckley project for Valley Brook Oval and Salem Court entrance was approved by Medina County, the engineers. And the next step is the application for the OPWC grant specific to road work. And we're going to have the county handle that application for us. Just to clarify, these funds are only available for road work. There's different pots of money under OPWC, and that's where this money is coming from. And it's a grant as opposed to a loan. So I wanted to update you on that.
Jack,
Yes, ma'am.
so was that your motion to go out to bid for that project?
No, that's just to
Already did
have
that,
them
right?
submit the application for the grant.
No, for the West Wall.
Westwell? No, that's for them to put the, advertise the bid.
You need to make a motion to do that, though. You need to make a motion to have, I was just looking to see if you'd done it the last meeting, but you had made a motion to pay the architect.
I
and to
did.
prepare the
Oh,
bid.
okay.
You have not made a motion to
Okay,
go
I'll-
out for bid.
Move to have Makovich and Pusti Architects Incorporated advertise for the, I have the actual language for that. Stand
Yeah. And then you'll just put the architect's estimate in there.
by. Thank you for catching that. Just so you know, this woman is greatly underappreciated. Okay, move to have. Name a different place every time. Move to have Makovich and Pusti Architects Incorporated advertise the bid for the east wall of the old fire station repair and renovation project with the architect's estimate and the Gazette on Friday.
20?
Making sure. Friday, October 20, with a pre-bid meeting set for Thursday, October 26, and bids due on Friday, November 9 at noon,
You said-
with the architect's estimate of
Did you say 1
$110,000.
PM, or they'll be open at 1 PM?
Bids will be opened at 1 p.m.
With $110,000 estimate.
Estimate, yes.
Okay.
That
Second.
was a very, very messy motion. I'm sorry.
No.
Seconded by Asherle. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Are you done or do you have anything else?
Well, that's not ending on a high note, but yes, I'm done.
Okay, because I have something else.
Please.
I just got an email response today, actually, from Jeremy at ODOT regarding the email that I had sent about the traffic study at 606 in Stony Hill. And he said they are not doing it again. They did the traffic study in 2020, but they also just did it again in 2023 in response to some residents who had emailed them And then I know that Melissa and I also reached out to him. So they did another traffic study in 2023 of this year. And they said they're not doing another one right now unless something has radically changed with it, which I believe is not
It's not the
true.
case.
Okay.
Right.
So I tried. Shot and missed.
Very good. Anything further?
For the second time, no, that's all I have.
Anyone from the public? Can you use the mic for the virtual audience? Name and address?
Lisa Rushworth, 1006 Bellis Road. I don't know if y'all watched the zoning commission meetings online, but they were doing a review of the section 4.8 nuisance language. One of the things that had been brought up is that there's very little that they actually have in the way of enforcement in the zoning. And their recommendation was that the township trustees, as they have authority under Ohio Revised Code, section 505.172, to make, I don't know exactly what it's called, a resolution to control noise in the township, that we would bring that to y'all. And so here we are. I don't know if y'all are familiar with some of our complaints that are, more specific to a Class D liquor license holder, but also in the zoning commission meetings, some people have come forth and kind of asked them about putting some language in to control short-term rentals like Airbnb. And while I could see that some of that concern is just, it's a little unsettling that the guy next door is different every weekend. A lot of the complaints around that seem to be centered around noise as well, that somebody's going to be renting the house out for the weekend to have a big party, bring a lot of friends over, crank the stereo in the backyard. And so the power in 505.172 given to the Board of Trustees to control noise within the unincorporated territory of the township that is generated at any premise to which a D permit has been issued by the Division of Liquor Control or that is generated within an area zoned for residential usage, seemed like it could be a way to alleviate some of those complaints, because they are, short-term rentals of a residence would be in that residential zone use. When we'd asked previous Board of Trustees, the answer we'd gotten back was that the township didn't wish to do so because they did not want to maintain special equipment to measure noise and train individuals to operate such equipment, which I considered reasonable at the time. After the most recent zoning commission meeting, though, I did some research on how other townships have implemented their noise control resolutions. And I actually don't find anybody who says, 37 decibels or 87 decibels and has a dude out there with a machine. They tend to use language. The plainly audible is the term that's used in most of them. They then further define that. And as an example, Brunswick Hills defines it as any sound produced by a mechanical or electronic sound making device or instrument that can be heard by a person using his normal hearing facilities. The person need not be able to determine with particularity the type of sound, the words, phrases, or lyrics heard, and the detection of a rhythmic bass or other reverberating type sound is sufficient to constitute plainly audible sound. The language used in these resolutions also typically restricts regulation to the specific noises that the township is trying to address. Amplified noise, modified exhaust systems, engine braking, which they seem to call Jake braking, other nuisances that have been specifically brought to the township. And then noises from desired sources, gunfire, hunting activities, kids playing in the backyard, church bells, the football game, whatever, are often specifically exempted from the resolution. I do have about 16 examples of other Ohio Township noise resolutions that I can forward to y'all if you're interested. I brought the Montville one just as an example.
I'd like those if you could.
Yeah, if you could please forward them.
Like I said, I put them together. Also, there was, I believe, Delaware. I don't know if it was Delaware County or Delaware Township that had a legal group provide them kind of a PDF overview of what a township trustee's rights are that I wanted to forward along as well. But we did want to kind of, as a follow-up to that zoning commission meeting, just encourage y'all to look at how other townships have implemented this and the ways that, it's not that I'm trying to stop everybody from shooting guns or, cheering their sports team on, but the kind of strike a balance between allowing you to enjoy your property and not, disrupt the whole neighborhood. So I'll forward that along later this
Thank you.
evening, and thank y'all for your time.
That was the question I wrote down to ask you is what other townships around here? So yeah, thank you. I'll read them.
Anyone else? Last call.
You gotta talk.
You got the short straw? Short straw?
How you doing? I'm Ron Joyce, 2709 Crestview Drive. Been there since 1994. So it's been a little while. My question with the gas situation going on there with Columbia Gas, do we have a final site plan on that?
I just received, I saw that something was sent to the zoning office this afternoon, late this afternoon, so I'm sure they haven't seen it yet. Relative to the driveway and the.
Correct, or the setback, right, absolutely.
The drive is gonna go on the far side of the building now.
Okay,
So that is a good thing.
right, absolutely.
But I don't know. I think they're planning on putting up some fencing to obscure in that buffer zone.
Correct.
But I don't know the status of the mound. Wasn't able to.
And does that follow what we have for buffering for the trees, shrubbery? Is all that going to be put in there?
You don't have to have those. Those are all alternates that are.
Correct.
That you can use, but they're gonna put something in that follows along with what's stated in the resolution.
And is that going to be something that's transparent? Do we get to look at that before this happens or?
Well, the zoning office they'll have to tell them it's okay and good to go.
But I know, because I live
Can we,
there.
so let
You
me
live
see
next
if I'm
door, right?
Yes,
understanding
absolutely.
correctly. Would it be helpful if we get your contact information and have Tom reach out to you when he has that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That would
If
be
you
great.
can see me after the meeting.
Okay.
I'll write it down
Perfect.
or Jack can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can make sure that Tom reaches out to you so you see it.
Is there a reason there?
Public information, though, you
That's-
should be able to.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm confused because everybody keeps saying it's a utility. They can do whatever they want
Well,
within limits.
yeah, it has to be. It has to be necessary, you know. you follow what I'm saying?
Correct,
So-
correct.
So if they can do this and do it in a way that complies, then they have to. do it.
Absolutely. And with the PUCO, so you guys are a certified building departments? Is that how you guys are classified?
Mm-mm.
We have a zoning department.
So you're the zoning department.
Building permits are issued by the county.
Okay, the site plan. So nobody has this, what it's gonna look like? Is that normal? I mean, is that something that normally happens? Or is it because it's utilities? That we don't have to have a
And
site
said
plan?
We probably have it now.
But they've already started. From everything I've read, that should be done, set forth before anything goes forward.
Was that was not the plan, right? I think I received phone calls from Doug,
Right,
right?
right,
about
absolutely,
this.
absolutely.
Was this a new this was not always part of the plan from the beginning, was it? For this
This
dry,
location.
yeah,
Yes, it was.
it was,
What happened, the existing pipe was abandoned. You know that.
right.
So they have to put in this new one to supply gas when the temperature falls below a certain, I think it's 10 degrees
Mhm.
because of the demand. So there has to be additional demand to bring additional
Right,
gas.
right.
And I think you're well aware of that portion of it.
Kind of. No one's told us anything. So that's what's
Well,
confusing.
I mean, they came here and gave a full presentation.
And we got that 5 days late in the mail.
That was,
That was, when did you,
Yeah.
did you came down here?
This was at a trustee meeting when they came.
Okay. We knew nothing about it.
yeah, they were here at the beginning of May. That's when they came and presented this to the township.
Okay.
Do you know how to put this up?
I'm not connected.
I'm looking at, can you share my screen? Do you know how to do that?
Are you in the meeting?
No, you have to be logged into
Yeah, I'm
Zoom.
sitting right here, man.
Yeah, I got two.
Well, who said that one? That's nice. Wow. Let's see. You know what? Wait a second, I'm just gonna forward it to you. And then you can-
Jack, are they putting in a driveway or a building? What are they
Yes.
constructing?
It's a pumping station is what we're
Yes.
told.
So it's a building.
Oh, yeah.
And there's gonna be a building on it, pipes.
And they'll also require, if they're putting in a new driveway, they'll also require a new driveway permit. Also,
the driveway permit would,
Yeah,
going in the right of way, it would go through
Are
the
you on?
county. I'm logging.
yeah,
Right.
that,
The construction, the structure would come through our zoning department.
And you guys do the driveways too, correct?
We don't do driveways, that was.
That's confusing because they said,
Well, the county permit
right,
does the driveway permits, because you're working within the right of way, so the easement area is part of the county oversees. the
Okay.
driveway.
so the only other
Mm-hmm.
thing, I'm Martha, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well. I
I'm
just,
not familiar with the project, so I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, it's
on
part-
the generalities.
yeah, I mean, looking at this project, I mean, it's not my concerns just from a gatekeeper is, you know, this is a pumping station, this is gas, this gets up to 1,200 pounds. And it's big. So from that perspective, do we know, you know, what the sound is like? So he lives there, is it can be loud? What's the lighting around it? Because you have to surround it because it is a pumping station of natural gas. There are emissions as part of that. Do we know what that is and how they've mitigated that?
And all those things are beyond the scope of what the
Right.
township can regulate for a.
Not regulate, but tell us what's going on there. I mean, if they have emissions as part of this, we should know. I mean, the community.
Township, well, because it's a public utility, what I'm saying from the generalities that we're talking about, the only authority the township would have is if a structure is being built. And
setbacks,
yes, correct, and distances.
The zoning perspective of it.
correct.
Yeah, location and use, that's what the township can.
Yeah, just like if you were building a house, your building permit would go to the county.
Correct, correct. But would I have not to give you a site plan, a final site plan?
Yeah, which is.
This is not a final site plan. This was for the water department from Medina County. I have the same thing you have. This is, the concern is, I came down here just wanting to know what the setback, they were going to do the setback between commercial and residential. I dealt with this in 2000 with Mr. Livingston and the property owner at that time. And we came up with the solution. We made a swell between the properties using my dirt, his dirt. We planted trees along it. That's our buffer when we go down Crestview. So I don't know where that went. And they said they're going to put the driveway 8 foot off the property with
What page?
no, basically no buffer. So I don't know. So when I came down here to ask for the site plan, there was no site plan. I go to Medina County, they don't have one.
A site plan for a project of that size. Jack, what's the gentleman's name that did come in May?
Ben.
And Cutler.
Yes, I've been in touch with him. Right.
Because I would think that that's the individual that could answer all those additional questions.
But why wouldn't you guys? I'm confused.
Because we are just, well, again, I'm not familiar with the.
Right,
project. I
right.
just know the gentleman that came in May, but the township can regulate use and location.
And you guys felt this was a good use, this property for this?
Well, it's a public utility, so,
Okay.
so it's not, you know, the kind of.
Have you guys ever dealt with this before?
Well, cell tower locations.
That's right next to me. That was put in the 20
Those are the same. type
You're right.
of-
The 25-foot buffer was, and that's what we agreed with the cell phone people. Telcom, I think, put that up. And we dealt with all that
Did
then.
you talk to Tom Wilson?
Yes, and he threatened me.
He threatened. Well, that's
Did he
silly.
threaten me?
He just said he was gonna walk your property and look if you had any violation.
Because for a building, if there's a structure being built, what an individual has to submit to the township is a 1/4-inch scale drawing. Lisa knows this is, but Lisa knows their zoning code as well as we do. But a 1/4-inch drawing as to, again, location. Location, where it is fits in, what the use is, which would be residential or commercial or public utility, which is, again, a whole different ballgame.
Okay,
But a good neighbor works with adjoining properties. in
correct.
order to.
Which is what I told Tom. I said, you know, we can figure this out. I'm just worried about my buffer.
Sure.
And now I start doing some more investigation into this. Do we have, the fire guy left already, the ESD shutdown? You might know about this. Has anybody been trained on this?
I cannot answer that.
Okay, so I just don't know. I can't seem to get any answers.
Relative to fire,
Sure, absolutely. Safety,
they'll be on top of it. I guarantee you that, you know, if there's something there that they need to know. Ben has been very forthcoming in working with me. I don't know. Like I said, I spoke with him on the phone and I said,
I have to, correct.
we need to get this done. He's, he wasn't happy about moving over. And I said, well, is that an option to do? And he said, yeah. And I said, can we do it?
Right.
And so at the end of the day, they decided to relocate the drive to work with you and be a good neighbor, basically. And
The trees and shrubbery, because he says that there is, I guess, looking all this stuff up for a pumping station, there is a clear fall zone. And that's why he doesn't want the trees. That's what he said. You have a cell tower right there. Stuff can possibly fall off a tower that height. So I don't quite buy that. All I want is a buffer. That's my biggest, I don't want to look at this.
well, they're putting up junipers. That's what we have up here now.
Okay,
And I believe there's a fence there as well.
If you folks look on your zoning permit schedule,
Yes, there's a privacy
there's
fence.
multiple permits that have been issued with the property owner being Columbia Gas. So there will be information on file
Okay.
in the zoning office because we collected money. There's a permit number. I can make you a copy of this. if you
sure.
want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a permit on Crestview, there's 2 on Babcock. And this only begins on July 3rd, so there could be prior permits.
Permits,
that
okay.
were Granted in June, I don't know for sure, but this just covers a 3-month period.
And like, Tom is working with Ben.
Okay.
They're looking at every aspect of that resolution. Initially, they thought it was business to business. Turns out it wasn't. It was
Correct, right.
So, if you look at that, he is now putting up a privacy fence, a vinyl privacy fence, and occluding that by putting junipers around it. So
Does it fit within everything with the zoning between commercial and residential?
Yeah.
As it was written in 2000 when we did that mound, that goes back behind the cell tower that they didn't buy.
Right, and the mound,
Correct.
the mound is one option. My understanding though, with their SWIP, stormwater prevention plan, that they have to look at that. And if he can keep it, he's gonna keep it, but if he can't, they're gonna have to remove it.
Can I urge that it stays?
Well, you can request that, yeah, you have.
I mean, if we had been
I
transparent,
understand.
if we had been transparent in this whole thing, this wouldn't have been happening. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's what's confusing, because I dealt with this in 2000 and here I'm doing it again, and that's the reason I stayed where I'm at. So I don't know why there was no transparency on any of this. Pretty easy to deal with.
Well, I don't think that was intended. Like I said, he came to the township and asked, could he make a presentation, and he did. And as far as I know, that there was something that was put out there, and they've been.
Ben's very good. I know people that work under him. I know people above him. And they all say he's very good. He gets what
Yeah,
Columbia Gas needs, or
he's a straight shooter.
absolutely. And he does his job, and he's very well at it. He's not an engineer. He doesn't do any of that.
No,
So I'm confused at how this buffer wasn't even considered when you guys gave the okay for the location, is what's confusing.
yeah, but I don't know that zoning saw this piece of it until it had been.
Until I brought it up. All right. But how can that happen? You're the gatekeepers. You guys are,
Well, as they're going through the process, they're obtaining permits here.
Okay,
As it goes along.
but if it was me or you building, would you not have to have that site plan ready for everybody's approval? From what I've read, that's how it works.
They did, again.
It's
to my
utilities.
knowledge, They didn't do anything until they submitted it. So it's not like they went, cleared that mound out and. now you're-
Right.
Hey, you did this.
Right.
They're doing it in the right order from what I can see.
Okay. So you've looked at it, it's
I'm not over the zoning, Tom. take
right.
care of that, so, but from what I can see, as far as my involvement in it, yeah, they're doing the thing, taking the right steps to make sure that it's in compliance.
All right. I'll take that for now. All right. Thank you.
Keep the open dialogue with them. I mean, yeah.
I mean, transparency is all I've asked for. I live there.
Yeah.
Ben doesn't live there. He says he's gonna be a great neighbor. We'll see, but it's.
Well,
I've caught it
and I don't
in
know if you
lines. I don't
know,
When this property was changed,
I don't know if you know that there will only be somebody at that property 4 times a year.
Correct.
Okay. That's the only time you'll see equipment or anything there, 4 times a year, right, for them to do it.
We did that mound, I planted those trees, so I wouldn't look at anything could move over there. I love natural gas, I'm not one of those, but I don't wanna look at that, that's the bottom line. It took since 2000 for those trees to grow what we have right now. I don't have another 20 years in me, you know, so I don't know.
Well, and just so you are aware also, Jack is not the liaison to zoning, so Jack's not looking over this all the time, but Jack has been the liaison for this
He's been
project.
very good.
And I know, I mean, when Dutch called me about it, I sent Dutch to Jack, and I know Dutch actually called me back and thanked me over and
Absolutely,
over with how helpful
I'm
Jack
not here
was,
for it.
so,
That's not what I'm here
Yeah.
for.
yeah,
I am worried after I started digging into the safety of it, I don't think it should be there,
right.
just because we're on a dead end street. I don't know, you guys should do your due diligence and watch YouTube it. Gas pipeline explosion, pumping station explosion, watch. I don't think we have much of a chance living there.
I agree.
I really don't. And I don't know how this, I know there are utilities, but PUCO, we've contacted them. You guys do have the control over it. If it does not go the way Columbia Gas wants, it's called a FERC review. That goes up even higher than you guys or the county. And that's why I don't understand where this, you're the gatekeeper. Would you want this next door?
No.
I mean, that's just the question. And I think they came in because they're a utility. Nothing against you guys. I think, okay, they're a utility, they can do what they want. At least they're giving them a buffer. This should have been dug into a little deeper. If you guys haven't done with this, check with other communities that have. I think that should have been done.
Typically, pumping.
You need
Can
to
I-
come up to,
You gotta, someone does the minutes, virtually, so,
I mean,
Thank you.
just doing research on this, because I worked 20 years at Chase and I built buildings all over the country and sat in a lot of zoning meetings. Typically, like with pumping station at, they're between 3 and 20 acre lots that you put these because, and I don't know what this one's like, what the compressed air is, but there's the church there, there's a daycare center, and there's a community, and you look and you go, and if you look at, if these things go bad, and they rarely go bad, but when they do, you know, you have at least 300 yards away from these. I mean, he's 25 feet. I mean, there's a lot of buildings, so, I mean, I don't know what this is like. Ben said that they're different, and I don't know. I just know past experience. That's all I can speak from. And they typically put them out in rural areas with at least 3 acres around them, you know? So just from a gatekeeper's perspective, just look at that. You probably can't stop
I
this.
understand that too,
Yeah.
but I also understand when the project was broached, it was to continue service to 2,400 homes.
Yep.
I mean, they don't have to do it, but then you run into a situation where when the temperature dips low enough, those folks aren't gonna have heat. They're not gonna have adequate pressure there.
Oh, we love heat.
Yeah,
Nothing against heat, but
but yeah,
it's location.
Joe Sorio, 2611 Crestview Drive. I'd like to touch for just a second on what you just said about the heat.
Okay.
The gas, the pressure. Why did they lose their lease?
The company that they were utilizing is abandoning that line. I don't know.
It's
the
not a
specifics
Columbia
of it.
gas line,
No, it's not.
but it was a lease through Columbia Gas.
I believe it was.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. We requested that zoning inspector, Tom Wilson, Susan Peterlin, Ben Cutler, the public affairs manager for Columbia Gas, and representative from Medina County Prosecutor's Office be here tonight in attendance. I was emailing Ms. Augustine. I sent all of you, Ms. Catherwood, sorry.
No worries. No, I'm.
A bunch of questions
I didn't
because
see anything.
you send it to us?
you were copied, correct? I spoke with Mr. Wilson this morning.
Okay.
We thought a better option would be to come up here to get some answers. we know we're not gonna stop this. I've lived there for 17 years, raised my son there. See neighbors come and go. Never dreamed of seeing anything like this at the corner of our street. And if you haven't seen it, by all means, go over there and take a look right now. I know it's not gonna look like that
Mhm.
forever, but at least for the next 3 months, it's gonna.
Right.
And I can't imagine it being better for the next 3 months. It's just gonna get worse. I can't even wash my car and go out the end of the street without,
Right.
getting it filthy because of the trucks coming in and out of there. Not a big deal. I'll wash my car. Anyway, we were told that, and none of the people that I just mentioned normally attend or are in attendance. There's a lot of questions we still have. And if you like, I can make a copy of the questions for you or try to email them again. But I got to tell you, we feel that the townships let us down on this. You should have been knocking on our doors, man, to think that you just put a bomb at the corner of our street. And if you don't buy that, Google Columbia Gas explosions. You'll see a list of wonderful things that, these pipelines have done to neighborhoods. Again, I've got a lot of questions. I talked to Mr. Wilson this morning briefly, and he said he would try to be here. Obviously, he's not. But again, I won't take up any more of your time, and I would love for you to read my questions at least, and if you can respond to them back by email, great.
Do you have a date that you sent that? Because I'm not seeing anything.
I sent it Sunday. Yeah, I'll try again. That's all I got.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Oh, no, that's not all I got. The safety thing, and I know you said you pointed to where fire should be. Well, I mean, are they on board with this? Do they know anything about this?
I will certainly find out.
I mean, we're talking, like he said, 1,500 pounds of gas pressure.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm an operator and have hit a 2-inch line in the past, and it makes a lot of noise without an explosion. I couldn't imagine what this is going to be like. Again, look up the, Google the videos. There's supposed to be tanks up there. Know anything about that? Tanks, separator, a scrubber I'm hearing that may or may not emit radiation or hydrogen sulfide gas?
I have not heard that.
No.
No.
Okay,
So
Again.
send me the questions and
I will. Thank you.
That's, if you can hang out until after the meeting, I will write down our email addresses. I have nothing and I just checked spam also. I did not receive an email from you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up and sharing your concerns.
I appreciate you listening. My wife was getting tired of it.
New audience, right?
Just so you know, you're not special. We all have that. Anyone else? All right. With nothing else, for the good of the order, I'll move to adjourn at 7:29 PM.
Second.
Second by Asherle, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.